Okay, I'd like to call the December 5th, 2017 Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. Can we all please stand for the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I don't have any announcements this evening, and there is no one in the audience for anything that's not on our agenda tonight, considering there's only 2 people here. So we'll go right into item 1, which is liquor license type and hours change for the Beagle. But we may shift that as they're not here.
I was going to ask you if you could do that. Thank you.
All right. So why don't we go to 3 and then move back up? Since Nick's here, we can do the ratify police chief contract and possible votes. I'm the chairman. I can bounce around whenever I want. We're on the contract part.
Yes.
You
Ready?
I am.
In your packet tonight, you have a proposed contract for Chief of Police, which has been offered and accepted at this point by our current Lieutenant Nick Miglianico, pronounced correctly. And just to summarize and to recap things that I said at the prior meeting, we had an interview panel, included an out-of-town chief, the chief from Uxbridge, Selectman Cortez, and myself. And the primary purpose of the interview, this was an internal posting. We were looking for any individual who was qualified from within the department, because it was an opportunity for upward mobility, knowing full well that the lieutenant would apply. And the only threshold question was to determine if the lieutenant was ready to make that step to chief. It is a different job. And the unanimous and enthusiastic opinion of the interview panel was that Nick is very ready for this, has worked hard, has earned the trust and confidence of this town and its government. And thus, I recommend the contract without any reservations. There were changes made from Chief Foley's contract to this contract. It was in your packet. A fair amount of new language, fully reviewed by Brian Mazur, our labor counsel, and then submitted to Nick for his review, and he agreed to it. We've made one change at his request. I'm happy to answer any questions, but as I said, we recommend without reservation that Nick be promoted to chief and a contract ratified, and he be sworn in as soon as possible.
First of all, I have to say I can't think of a better candidate. So, and I was extremely pleased to see that you wanted to step up and carry the torch from Pat with his retirement. So, and I've heard nothing but good things from the police officers. Chief Foley sang your praise on a pretty regular basis. Plus, getting to know you over the time of sitting in this seat. You're definitely a stand-up guy, and I think you're the perfect person for the job. You're exactly what our department needs.
I would certainly concur. I think you're a great choice.
Thank you. I think we have a great department here in town. Obviously, I've had exposure to a number of departments. It's a real team aspect here, a team type of atmosphere, and I think that speaks volumes. And I think everybody I've talked to is 100% behind you, as I am. I know you're the man for the job, and I know you're going to do a great job.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So the question, do you have a white shirt already?
I like blue, but I will get one.
Because I don't think
Well, you
Pat's
look good
would
in
I don't see that in here, the white shirt.
the white shirt. And I don't know if Pat's would have fit you, but
I'll grow into it, I'm sure.
so no, I'd be looking for a motion from one of you gentlemen.
So I move that we approve the contract as presented.
Second.
Motion was made by Mike and seconded by Dave. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Chief.
May I approach?
Absolutely.
Shake hands. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to Mr. Wojcik for giving me the opportunity and the board for the continued support that you've given me.
We have to sign.
Yes, you have to sign.
and
Congratulations, Chief.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What I can tell you is, you know, Chief Foley left us with a solid foundation of the department, and we're all just looking forward to build on that as we move forward. But thank you so much.
No, we're glad to have you.
Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
So you planning on keeping up with what Pat used to do with the crossing guard? Yeah.
I'll be out there.
I
Was kind of hoping to do that, start that in the spring, but.
wouldn't blame you if you did.
Right.
So, Mr. Chairman, there will be a brief and small swearing-in ceremony here in this chamber tomorrow at 3 in the afternoon for all are welcome who wish to attend.
I will make every attempt that I can. I just can't make any promises. If I don't make it, though, absolutely congratulations and wholeheartedly thrilled to have you, stepping up and taking over as chief. And I'm sure we're going to see great things from you.
I have the same problem. I am in court tomorrow. I'll do my best to be here, but if I'm not, let me
Dave, will you
congratulate
sign
you
three?
again.
Yeah, me as well, but that doesn't mean I don't want to be here.
Are you in
No.
court as a lawyer or
There's
as a
three.
defendant?
As a lawyer.
Gene,
Oh,
you can
okay.
represent us.
I plan on being there.
Thank you, Suzanne.
You're welcome.
I was gonna give them to you.
They made a
Actually,
line
I
if
do.
they
Sign
did
too,
make a
and
line.
so does Nick, and.
Shouldn't keep
Chief.
going.
All right. So, from the Beagle?
I am.
Excellent. So I can skip back while we got signatures going on. I can bounce back over to item 1, liquor license type and hours change for the Beagle
Yes.
Club and possible votes.
We have actually, they have withdrawn the change of license type, but they are going forward with the change of hours. So in your packet is the the hour change you can see, which would be Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., Thursday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Obviously, there's restrictions by the state on certain holidays, which they are aware of. And the current hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. The proposed hours are within the law. There are certain areas that, timeframes rather, that the selectmen have to approve Mass General Law, which you have done. And so these are, like I said, within those boundaries, so
Okay.
they're allowable.
They're allowable.
They're allowable if you choose.
And we have our two, well, no, officially our 2 chiefs here. So are there any concerns on this, on police or fire?
This is the hour change, Chief.
The hour change,
Vincent,
I
yeah.
have no concerns at this time.
You good? All right.
If they have no concerns, I have no concerns, so I make a
Yes, sir.
motion to approve the change in hours.
I will second that.
Motion was made by Mike, seconded by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All set?
That was simple.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will let you know, you're gonna be signing a license also. That has to be approved by ABCC first, so, you're gonna be signing 2 licenses for them, the renewal and then the hour change.
Okay.
But the hour change won't be mailed to them until after ABCC approves it.
All right.
Very good.
And I'll mail it to you when
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much.
Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you. Review and consider liquor license renewals all.
Okay. Under Mass General Law, because this question comes up every year, Chapter 138, Section 16.8, licenses shall be automatically renewed for the next annual license period. But they may be rejected for cause. At this time, what you're approving is that all of the paperwork and requirements that they need to meet for both the state and the town have been met.
Okay.
So what I did was, I gave you a copy of the checklist that I have created to show that I have in fact received all their updated certificates of insurance, that they have been inspected by the fire department, All their certifications for tip is done, and payment or whatever else that needs to be done. They're all complete. And there was an additional, I also include the fire department's inspection report. And we always have we tell the licensees that they need to abide by the recommendations made by the fire department. The fire department did have an extra one to the Sokol Club, and he is asking that you put that, I'm trying to think, I think it's behind the, it's at the very beginning. I put it behind the first memo, his letter, the sprinkler, and he's asking that you put that as an additional condition on that license, that they abide by that order.
I'm trying to find that letter.
It's at the
So
second
it'll be
page
your
in.
first memo, and it'll be the second,
Right.
right behind your first memo for that.
Here. And take my-
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I should probably start keeping it in one of these again.
I can do that for you if you'd like.
No, I'm too stubborn.
So as I understand this, Chief Vincent, you want us to make installation of the sprinkler system a condition of renewing the license. Is that correct?
I want plans by February 1st. We agreed that if they went to the public, open to the public, almost 2 years ago, that after a year they would submit plans. That hasn't happened, so I issued an order.
Right.
So I would just ask that you support that order, and the other thing I instructed them to do is to put a fire alarm system in with strobes and pull stations. So I want plans for both of those by February 1st.
So, on your sprinkler order, do you have an install by date?
Not as of yet. Once we get the plans, then we can talk about what the time period we give to a deadline.
Okay. So on the Sokol's renewal, when we have our motion in there, then we're gonna wanna make sure that it is contingent upon plans being submitted to Chief Vincent by February 1st. So, and also contingent upon installation date to be determined by Chief Vincent.
Okay, basically, it's not really contingent upon, it's being renewed.
It's being renewed.
It's being renewed. If, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if they don't follow the conditions, then we would bring them in for a hearing.
Okay. So then we'll put that as part of their conditions of renewal.
Okay.
But I do wanna make sure that we call out both the plan submission date by the 1st, and once, Chief Vincent's come up with a date that it needs to be installed by,
Yep.
then that needs to be also determined and outlined to them clearly.
We're gonna do, Suzanne, do you suggest a separate motion for the Sokol Club? And then a blanket motion for the others, or
That makes more sense.
just procedurally?
You could do that. And when you do the others, you can just go by the listing that I have in the packet.
Okay.
Is that acceptable to you, Chief Vincent?
I thought you were gonna make a motion.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
I was waiting.
Take any help I could get. I would make a motion that we renew the license, the liquor license of the Sokol Club, listed first here on the conditions that Chief Vincent laid out.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So it was made by Dave, seconded by Mike. Is there any further discussion on this? All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I will make a further motion that we approve the remaining liquor licenses on the list appearing here.
I'll second it.
Made by Dave, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and you have a lot of signing to do.
Alrighty.
You have both licenses to sign, and then you have also, oh, you did sign this one. Actually, ABCC changed things. You used to sign a separate letter that was an authorization stating that everything that I said we've received, we have. Now they're doing everything online, so we just do a bulk upload. You don't have to sign that anymore. You just sign the license.
It's not even Christmas.
No. And I have to keep reminding myself that it's different, because I keep looking for the paper that I'm missing.
All right, so we have the health insurance policy first reading.
Mr. Chairman, this was presented at your last meeting with a fairly lengthy outline from me, so I'm going to leave it at that. I have made no edits to the document since presentation. The document was presented to the Personnel Board today. There were some questions, there was conversation, but they did not result in any edits being suggested either. So at this point, the window is open for further comment as you go through your second and third readings.
I actually did take some time and go through it. It seems relatively straightforward, well-written, so good job on that.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. Jean already asked me if I had questions when I first came in.
Because she couldn't wait for the meeting?
She likes to get it out of the way ahead of time. She's very efficient.
Proactive.
It was a test.
Like a life by
what?
egg timer.
Here's the thing that I'm gonna say about Jean is if she said that she would bring candy in for the Board of Selectmen, it would be there.
That's the worst you do.
Him and I do have some candy if you'd like some.
Oh, jeez, now.
You're making Matt look bad.
I offered him Chinese food.
That's a tough decision when you think about it.
It is.
Is there any way that you could direct him into the convenience store before he comes to town hall or something? Like instruct the officers to escort him down there?
You don't understand. I buy it and I eat it all before you have your meeting. I eat a 3-pound bag of gummy lifesavers
And live to talk about it.
and live to talk
yeah.
about it.
Yeah, those wouldn't last long. All right.
Number 5.
October after storm letter and possible votes.
Mr. Chairman, after our last meeting, I took the liberty of going over your comments from the minutes, your comments being the board's comments, and adding a couple of paragraphs here to reflect the board's concern that there needed to be a vegetation management plan in place for the town from grid, and that the town would reserve the right to consider orders to bury utility cables in the future if we can't get satisfaction on it. So, I mean, my point in sending a letter is I think this is an ongoing dialogue. We can't let situations like this pass and just forget about it, because this will not be the last time this type of storm occurs, and we just want to be in a better place the next time it does happen. So I'm looking for your authorization to send this on behalf of the town.
I see no issues with it.
I think it's well written.
Any input from either one of the chiefs?
I would just say that I think we covered everything the last time we talked about it, and what you gentlemen added was sufficient. I think they're gonna get the point.
We hope they're going to get the
Yeah.
point.
Think maybe we can get you to back at him too, Ken, if we have to. All right, so you'd be looking for, do you need a vote for authorization on that, or is just the three of us saying, yeah,
I
okay?
think it's a formality, but it makes me feel better when they call me, because they will call me. I'll say, well, the board voted on this and is apprised of its contents, and we want an answer as a group.
I move that we authorize the town administrator to send the letter reflected here in our package.
I'll second that.
All right, so it was made by Dave, seconded by Mike. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Which brings us to your report.
Mr. Chairman, I'll be brief. The town of Douglas received a price to purchase notification this week from National Grid with respect to the town's streetlights. The cost of purchasing the lights themselves is $1. So that financial piece is pretty much out of the equation now. And the only question is, how will we proceed? There's a lot of paperwork associated with the purchase, even though it's only $1. Then how will we proceed? We have two rival possibilities. There's MAPC, which is the Massachusetts area, I believe, Planning Commission, and then PRISM, which is the outfit that did most of Rhode Island and a couple of towns in Massachusetts for the LED conversion. Who's going to offer the town the best price? But the plot thickens, because in order to really receive the cost savings, we need to revisit the Con Edison solar deal that the town has for credits, because the way that deal was structured, it doesn't really allow us to reduce our spend because we have lesser usage. All we'll end up doing is prepaying this and building up massive credits that we'll never use because we're not using that much electricity anymore. So we're going to have to go back into this agreement, as has been done once before, and perhaps allocate, in my opinion, sell those credits to another Massachusetts municipality so that we can just take our overall spend further and further down. So it's not the simple straight shot that I would have hoped it was going to be, but we've been investigating it. Gene and I have been talking, and we'll probably have to use Rich Bowen's counsel on this to go back into that complex agreement. But
Can we alter that complex agreement to
Well,
remove the floor, as it were?
it's been done once before. What we're locked into is the price per kilowatt hour, because it's project finance. It's long life asset. So they're trying to get a guaranteed rate of return. They don't care. As long as they sell all the kilowatt hours at the price that they've named, they'll be fine. They don't care who buys it from them. But we're committed right now to a level of usage that will no longer be necessary once the streetlights are.
So we're committed to a certain number of kilowatt hours?
Yeah.
Not dollars.
Well, that's how our credits are calculated. So we can only use so many. We still have a positive forward balance of, I want to say, $55,000. So we're way ahead already of.
And we're going to get much farther ahead.
Yeah, so it doesn't really help us to save energy. That's not anybody's intent. So we'll just have to do that extra legwork,
How
so.
many streetlights are we replacing?
414.
Do we have the dollar to pay for the streetlights, Gene?
Well, we'd have to get it out of the selectmen's account, right?
But that was very good news, because the last time I did a transaction like this, it was $25,000 for the lights, which, cash out of a municipal budget that at this late in the season is not welcome.
$414 is much more acceptable. Is it $1 per light?
It's
or
$1 for everything.
Oh, wow, that's much more
The
acceptable.
whole kit and
yeah.
caboodle. So you look at fully depreciated assets, that's
Right.
what you got here. Even 414 would have been better
Yeah,
than 25,000.
exactly, yeah.
So, other than that, members of the board, department heads need to reach me. I'll be in training for the next 3 days, this next set of purchasing officer training. And I'm decided to take the course in Barnstable instead of Boston to save some aggravation. But I'll be reachable the entire time, and if I need to be called back to the office, I will be. But if I don't respond right away, that's because I'm in class. Other than that, thank you for your actions tonight.
All right. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business? All right. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Made by Mike and seconded by Dave. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.